Children come into the world wondering, how does this place function? And we don't know where they come from. We'll talk about that a little later in the year, but nobody really knows for sure. And children are trying to figure out, well, I'm in this new place. I've seen newborns and they look around like, where the heck am I? How'd I get here? And then gradually they begin to fall into place of understanding it. But their view coming into the world is they know nothing. They are given gifts and talents. They don't know it yet, and you don't know it either as a parent or grandparent or caregiver, but they come wondering, what are the rules here? How's it work? Now, what would happen in our society if we changed and tweaked a little bit about how we prepare our children? So rather than telling them that the A, B, C's and the one, two, threes are the most important thing, what would happen if in your household you focus more on the morality, the laws of God, the laws of collaboration, the law of assumption, and give them a brand new framework from which to approach life? As I've studied human nature all of my life, I've seen what happens with different perspectives over the long term. I've seen people who have been steadfastly um, committed to making a difference in the world. And as I've watched them decade after decade, that's exactly what they're doing. I've seen some people who had no commitment. They just woke up every day and said, well, I'm awake. What am I going to do? And floating and drifting, nothing happens. And I've had both of those happen in my life, and I've seen the difference of them. But what would happen if you raise your child with purpose? If you seek to discover in their first years, 5 years of life, what is their purpose? How can you help them fulfill their purpose? I'm reminded of a young boy who actually was in the Olympics. And they told a story during the Olympics of how when he was around 6 years old or so, he and his parents were in a department store. And they looked around and they couldn't find their son. And they said, well, where is he? And they're calling his name and looking for him. And finally they realized he has climbed all the way up to the top of some major store they were in. And the parents, rather than saying what many of us would which was, "Boy, get yourself down here," and yada, 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 they said, "Hmm, looks like my kid likes to climb. What do climbers do for a future? How can he use that gift?" And they put him in gymnastics, and he actually won a gold medal. So parents' role is in helping the child understand their view of life, to also helping them understand what are their natural gifts and talents.